Rage room workers, what's the most disturbing thing you've ever seen? When a new time customer came in with an iPhone, shoes, and a wallet to destroy in the rage room, me and my coworker immediately started gossiping. Out of curiosity, we watched as he put his yellow helmet on, strolled into the room, and only destroyed the objects he brought in. We figured that they must have belonged to a cheating ex-wife or something. But then he came in the next day with a man's outfit and Rolex watch. So maybe he was mad at his son? Well, that rumor was destroyed too, because the next day, he brought in dentures and a veteran's hat. So as he was thanking us on the way out, I jokingly asked if he had killed someone. But instead of just laughing, he turned around and said, "Not yet," before winking at me and walking out. I knew something wasn't right, and my male coworker joked that maybe he had kidnapped someone. And if you've ever worked in hospitality, you know just how boring it can be. So we let our imaginations run wild until we had made up almost 100 different scenarios about how he was secretly holding someone captive. And to understand what we did next, you have to know that there was a missing persons report flashing on every screen in the city. So one day, we slipped an AirTag into his coat pocket, and when we finished our shift, we drove to his location. Well, 3 hours later, I began to question my decision-making because we ended up outside an isolated barn house. My coworker turned his headlights off and told me to wait in the car as he sneaked up to the window. I'll never forget the horrified look on his face before he threw up into the grass beside him. Curiosity got the better of me, and I left the car. When I looked through the window, I saw the man from the missing persons case tied down to a chair, naked and covered in dozens of cuts and injuries. Red was leaking from his head, and he looked like he was on the verge of death. My head was spinning while I tried to make sense of what was going on, and we were about to call the police when, suddenly, the man from the rage room opened the door and pleaded with us to hear him out. My coworker pushed me behind him and nodded his head as if to say speak. Apparently, the man on the chair had R-worded his daughter one day while she was walking home from elementary school. At first, he brought him here to kill him, but then he started talking about how his daughter's kitten was so good that it was worth dying for, which made him realize death wouldn't do that guy justice. So he's been making this guy suffer for the last 2 weeks, and by destroying the evidence at the rage room, he could make his pain last longer. And to prove what he was saying, he showed us video evidence of the man stealing his daughter's innocence. He filmed the video himself. A wave of nausea washed over me, and my coworker just nodded before carrying me back into the car. We haven't heard from him since, and the police never caught him.